Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Paul from Life Connect, and it's really such an honor to have you with us online this morning. Today you're going to be hearing about one of my pet projects, for lack of a better word. I want to talk to you about families, and it's December, heading towards Christmas, traditionally a family time. So I thought that, man, what a topic. And how applicable is the topic to the season we find ourselves in. Talk about families. Now, families to me are, they're under attack. And they're under attack because they're the cornerstone of every nation. You see, if we've got strong, healthy families, I believe we will have a healthy nation. If I wanted to undermine a people group, I'll attack the family unit, cause division between husbands and wives, and between moms and dads and children. And that would spill out of the home into the streets, into society. And if we're honest, that's what's happening. Look at what our world looks like, because families have been undermined. In South Africa, where I'm from, economically, we have been awarded a status simply called junk. Okay? Economically, we got a junk status. And I don't think it's only applicable to our economic outlook here. It's applicable to our families. It's not because South Africans love junk food so much. It's because we haven't protected our families. Families are generally just a mess. When I talk to you about this, I talk from my own experience, looking at what's going on in my home and how my relationship is with my children. I'm talking to you from experience with talking to other people, observing what is happening in their homes, having to do with young moms and dads, having to do with moms and dads who are a little bit older, with teenagers. So I'm talking to you from a place of experience, but a place of extreme concern as well. I think our number one problem we've got in families is we have moved away from the godly structure for families. Have a look on the screen behind me. You see, that is the way it was supposed to be. That is the way God ordained it. Christ first, then the husband, then the wife, then the children. Now I know we're going to have some feminists jump up and say, I'll be under no man. Well, biblically, you should be. But then he's got to be a man worthy of being under. But we'll talk into that. You see, when we did away with that, and we came with all this equality and these rights. I believe in protecting children. But when we took out discipline and we just gave free rein to everybody, we broke down God's intention for family. And God wouldn't put that in place if it didn't work. So what has happened? The devil has come in and undermined that structure. And look where we're sitting now. In our families, we got no respect for each other. We got no honor for one another. No honor for the God-ordained positions. And thus we find ourselves in a crisis. Here's a little clip just to paint a picture of what I'm trying to say.
What we're going to do. We've never ever been able to ever make ends meet, have we? It's all your damn fault for not earning enough anyway.
Oh, don't start.
Don't you threaten me, you weak, cowering little man. I've given you the best years of my life. You've got no drive, no ambition. That's your trouble.
Right, this is a hold-up. Get back.
Come.
Anybody moves, she gets it.
Now that to me is hilarious. I mean, if that was my wife talking to me like that, man, I'll be dancing up and down. I'll load the gun for the guy. But as funny as what that is, it's not so funny when it's happening in our homes. And when it's not only wives being like that, but husbands being like that, and children being like that, then it's not funny anymore. Because there's total disrespect and dishonor in that clip, and as a result, in our families. So what's the answer? Well, I believe going back to the way God wanted it to be, I believe if we had to apply the principles of the Word of God into our personal lives and then into our families, it will make a difference. I believe if every single family member committed every single morning to work, to put on and to walk and live in the armor of God, things could go better. And I suppose you're wondering, what is the armor of God? Well, it is the principles God gave us to apply to our lives in order to protect us as an individual, as a mom, as a dad, as a child, as a son, and as a daughter of God. It is things like the belt of truth. When you got that wrapped around you, you will live the truth. It is the breastplate of righteousness. It is acting the whole time in right standing with God. It is feet fitted, and it says in the King James, feet shod with the gospel of readiness, the gospel of good news. It is your ability to speak positively into situations and to speak the biblical principles into the situations. It is taking up your shield of faith, believing in God, believing in the Word of God, and God's ability to protect your family if you apply the Word of God. And it's the helmet of salvation. It is making sure you're saved and you've created an atmosphere, an example that your kids desire to live a saved life as well. And it's the sword of the Spirit, not moving away from the Word of God, but applying the Word of God, reading the Word of God, sharing the Word of God. If we can get back to that, I believe we could change families around. The problem with the armor of God is, many of us are just, like I've said before, spiritual streakers. We proclaim to be children of God, but we don't walk in the armor of God. We put it on every once in a while. It's not something you should put on and take off. It's something you should live in, like wake up in, go to bed in. But you want to leave it and clothe yourself with worldly robes every now and again and act and do like you want. You're basically a spiritual streaker. But anyway, I'm going off topic. Let's get back to this respect and honor. Let's get back to the structure God has ordained. Let's get back to the Word of God, because families are important. And what I'm going to talk about here, I'm not coming down hard on children. I'm not going to impose on women. I'm not going to give men the scope to be lazy. I just want to talk to you from my heart about what the Word of God says. And I'm trusting the Lord will speak to you. Be you a father, be you a mother, be you a husband, or even if you're going to be, even if you, as we say in South Africa, Oma and a Opa, a grandmother and a grandfather. We can change families when we fulfill our roles and we walk continuously in the armor of God. So here's 3 verses up here for husbands. Okay? First one, Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Number 2, he must manage his own family well and see that his children obey him. And he must do so in a manner worthy of full respect. Proverbs 22 verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. Guys, just below the Lord, he places you with this enormous responsibility to love your wife unconditionally. Not to act as this judge over her or this boss of her. That is not who you are. You know what? If we could see our wives as equals, it will already go a lot better in our home. What it says there is you've got this responsibility towards your wife. You love her in such a way that she's able to look up to you and respect you. There's a word that women hate to hear, submission. Okay? But she's only going to submit under her husband's leading if he is worthy of submitting to. And that's going to depend on how you love her, how you talk to her. Are you still a gentleman? How do you engage with her? Do you treat her as a servant in the home? And do you, or do you like abuse her by making her do all the work? I haven't read one place in the Bible where it says women are supposed to wash the dishes. Okay? We're equals. We're supposed to help each other because we love each other. You're supposed to manage your family well. But just stand up, for goodness sake, men. We've become, I don't have a good English word for this, and I probably shouldn't use this word online, but here it goes. Men have become slapgat. Okay? I suppose you could say in English, weak. Okay? Where are we, guys? Who's our children going to look up for? We either, like on this side where we like autocratic and we disciplinarians, or we on this side where we're just like jellyfish and we flop all over the place. We got to be of such a nature that we're firm when we need to be firm, but we're loving when the family needs to be loved. And they always need love. But there is a time when you must be firm. Then you will be respected. Not when you're unfair, not when you're acting out of anger. Okay? When you are acting out of love and being firm in doing that. Your children should obey you. Now, I'm not allowed to say things on discipline because our government has outruled that and taken pastors to court about it. But man, the kids need something. We're raising a bunch of hooligans and we're just buying into the government's philosophy instead of putting boundaries in our homes and how you apply those boundaries. I can't tell you how to do it. I'm just saying be fair so they respect you and they honor you. And then train up a child in the way he should go. You know what? Listen to this, guys. Your children are going to become exactly like you. Do you like who you are? Do you want what they've got for a father for them one day? Or for them to be a father like you are one day? To your precious little grandchildren, which I promise you when you have them, you're going to love them to bits. Do you want your children to be with your grandchildren like you are with them? If not, change. Because they're going to follow your example. They will always come back to what they experienced in the house. And the sad thing is, if you got a little daughter, a precious little blue-eyed daughter, she's probably going to end up marrying someone just like you. Would you like a husband for her like you are? If not, change. Guys, man up. Let's love properly. Let's lead properly. Is it so difficult to become a spiritual leader in your home? No. But if you don't do it, you're going to reap the consequences in a disjointed family, and it will impact generations. That is how important your role as a man is. Okay, mamas. 3 scriptures for you. But I want you to understand, this is 1 Corinthians 11 verse 3, that the head of every man is Christ. The head of a wife is her husband, and the head of Christ is God. Number 2, Proverbs 12, verse 4. An excellent woman is the crown of her husband, but she who brings shame is like rottenness in his bones. Psalm 128, verse 3. Your wife will be like a fruitful vine within your house. I mean, you guys, you know the Bible. I could have chosen so many, and these 3 just popped out. Okay, the first one, the most challenging one. Let's get to it. Biblically, your husband is the head of the home. I know sometimes he doesn't act like it. I know sometimes you think you married a circus clown. You still got to respect and honor the position that God has placed him in. And you have got the power to mold him gently, and loving him. Nagging has never helped change a man. But you got the ability to mold him and shape him by loving him in the right way, by honoring and respecting him. You know that in that video clip, that's not how you want to be. Unfortunately, I see this happening more and more, where we got a lot of henpecked husbands because the woman believes she's got this will that is stronger than his, and she will impose it. And I'll own up, there's a lot of women that got a stronger will than men. But when you impose it negatively, you are going to reap a harvest for yourself that you do not want. And I'm convinced of this, you're going to give account to God one day. You cannot overpower your husband. You cannot talk the man to death just to prove your point or to get your opinion across. There's a point where you just got to back off and say, in the interest of love and in the interest of honoring God and my husband, you know what, I'm backing off right now. That second one, you're the crown of your husband. Man, I've been married. This is how long have I been married? It feels like for 700 years underwater. No, I'm not joking. I've been married like 33 years. And I look at my wife, and she truly is the crown of me as her husband. She adds value to me. She is the personification of beauty to me. Okay? Husbands, just on this. Love your wives by making them feel loved. Let them know they're loved. Let them know they're beautiful. Let them know that you've only got eyes for them. When I look at her, I feel good about having her in my life. Is she always good? No, what? Yes, sometimes she drives me nuts. She can absolutely drive me up the wall. But I decide I love her. And when I go out amongst people, I'm proud to say this is my wife. Because I've decided, despite her faults, I love her. Because she loves me despite all of my faults. So I really view her as a crown. And I try to make other people aware of how precious she is to me. I sometimes fail. The one thing she hates about me, I'll just walk into a room full of people and I'll wander off and start talking to someone. And then she's like, oh, I'll meet people and I'm so excited to meet them, I forget to introduce her. Oh boy, I hear about that. I don't mean to dishonor her. It's just like sometimes I get carried away. But when I do remember, I'll draw her near and say, oh, this is my wife, V. And I call her V because she's got an R in her name and our battles are Veronica. I mean, who would do that to the kid and do that to me? Should have chosen, well, we'll just call her V. I've chosen well. She who brings shame is like rottenness in his bones. It's nothing worse for a man than not being proud of his wife or having nothing in his wife to be proud of. A woman who doesn't look after herself. A woman who doesn't honor her husband. A woman who's always on his case. A woman who always wants to get her way. That seeps into a man's bones and turns a man off the gift of God, which is his wife. You can change that. Psalm 128, your wife will be like a fruitful vine within your house. You know why I included this? Because I see a vine in the context of which it was written here, the Jews who were planting vineyards, and that was from where they would not only get fruit, but they would get wine, which was like the personification of a good life. And you as a wife, you've got the ability within you, a God-given ability, to turn a house into a home, to make whatever happens in that home to be fruitful and to multiply. You've got the ability as a woman to create the atmosphere in a home. And you do that by being a loving mother, a loving wife, and one who is a provider. Now, guys, you do not sit back, watch TV, hog the remote while your wife is slaving away in the kitchen. Like I said, you will not die if you wash dishes or peel a few potatoes or if you clean up after dinner. But it should be a wife's pride and joy to provide that family needs, the food, the nurturing. Only a woman can do that properly, because it's the way God put you together, with this gentleness, this softness, this wanting to take care of the needs of your family. Ladies, I want to tell you, we love you, we value you, and as a man, we need you, okay? Because without you, if it wasn't, God even knew. Because when he looked at Adam, he thought, yes, but if I just leave you on this earth, you're going to mess it up. I better give you someone who can help you because you're going to need it. So he created woman, and he created you so beautifully and so specially. Okay. I wonder how many children are out there who are listening right now. You know what? I am 54 years old, I think. I'm still a child. I'm still my mama's boy. Okay? So when I talk to children, I'm talking to people of all ages. Now, here's 3 verses for you. Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. Colossians 3:20. Here's this verse again, but I took it a little bit further. Your wife will be like a fruitful vine within your house. Your children will be like olive shoots around your table. Okay? And then this one from Proverbs. Listen to your father who gave you life, and do not despise your mother when she is old. I hear, being a pastor, I get to deal with people from all age groups. And I hear how some of the young kids, how disrespectful they are to older people. And how disrespectful they are to their mom and the dad. And I see how disrespectful they are to me and to other people. And I see in my grandchildren, how they talk to their mom. And what's going on? Yeah, when I was growing up, if I had to talk to my mom like that, I would get a backhand or whacked with a frying pan. Okay? It's not on, children. Where is the respect? Where's the honoring your mom and your dad so it will go well with you? What has happened to us? Where do we think we earned the right to be so disrespectful and to disobey and just to do as we want? You know what? According to this word, you are not pleasing God. And you're doing untold hurt to your mom and your dad. I'm a father, and I get to deal with the mother of my children. And I know how many times we go to bed with hearts filled with pain and disappointment, with a heartache that you cannot comprehend because of the way your children have treated you. Part 2 of that Psalm 128 verse 3 says, your children will be like olive shoots around your table. This is supposed to be a positive. An olive shoot means on the olive tree there's new growth. If there's new growth, there's more olives. If there's more olives, there's more good, nourishing food and olive oil. Okay? It's supposed to be a mutually beneficial growth time for children, and children are supposed to be adding to the family. But here we got these young olive shoots, and the only thing they're shooting is shooting their mouth off. The only thing they're shooting is at their own pleasures. The only thing they're concerned about is how much screen time they got. And I mean, they aren't concerned with family anymore because moms and dads have allowed the families to disintegrate by giving in to kids, putting a screen in their hand because it's just easier. Where has the discussion time gone? Where's the game time gone? Where has the family time gone? We just got kids shooting their mouths off, saying what they want, doing what they want. That's got to stop. We've got to take hold of these little olive shoots of ours. And you know what? If necessary, we need to just clip them a little bit. How you do that's up to you. But I know in a garden, if something's growing all unruly, you just snip it off. And you train that bush nicely again. It's time we start doing some snipping in the household. And then listen to your father who gave you life. And do not despise your mother when she's old. Well, don't despise your mother or your father when they're young or when they're old. But you know what? I get to deal with older people. And I see how lonely some of them are. And how their entire life they just gave to the children and gave to the children. And now when they're in need, where are those children? Too lazy to phone. Too lazy, or not too lazy, just don't consider maybe I should be spoiling my mom and dad a little bit now. Maybe I should love them. Maybe I should buy them some groceries. Maybe I should just do a little deposit into their account. You see, when you move out the house, you don't move out of their heart. You'll forever be there, and they're forever concerned about you. My son is 33, my daughter's 30. Still cry over them, still concerned about them. I just wonder if they are as concerned about me as what I am as a dad about them. Let's respect our moms and our dads. Let's honor them. I know some of you say, but they don't deserve it. They did this to me, they did that to me. Guess what? My father deserted me. I can still honor him because God made him my father. He didn't fulfill his fatherly duty, but he did do what God asked. Well, let me rephrase that. He did procreate like God asked. And I'll honor him for that. And I look like him. That's not too bad, I suppose. I can find value in that as well. When you look, you'll always find value in someone. Just look and let's honor that. You see, the only way that you're going to be a godly man, you're going to be a godly woman, or you're going to be a godly child is when we learn to love each other, respect and honor one another, and when we put on the armor of God every single day. So I want to ask you, in this week ahead, let's start with 1 week, and then let's try and stretch it to 2 weeks. Can I ask you, every morning when you wake up, that you will pray and you will ask the Lord to show you how you can honor and respect your family members in that day, and consciously decide to do something to show respect or show honor. And then, if you're not sleeping in the armor of God, put it on every single morning. Visualize yourself actually clothing yourself with that armor. It will not only do you good as a family member, but it will do you good as a living creature created by God, because that enables you to walk uprightly throughout this world. Can I ask that we do that? Awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. I hope what I've said has gone to your heart. It's December. It's Christmas. It's time for family. Let's make this one a little different to all the others by making it so much better than any other Christmas we've had, because we're going to respect, honor, and love our fellow family members. Be blessed. See you next week. Please share this message. We do love you.